you fell into my trap. Hey guys, it's Cypress, and today it's a little different gameplay. This is a recap episode telling you all about the character we'll be playing in this pseudo-legacy not really challenge. I am an OG Sims player, having played the original when it first came out, and yet I haven't ever ventured into Sims gameplay on this channel, mostly because I just don't know how on earth I'd edit something like that down. But I want to try, so let's get started. In order to rev myself up, I started without you guys. Sorry, but I had to. The idea I had was to follow this little girl through life and see where that takes us, but I have very little interest in playing her family. Sorry, not sorry. So here we are, introducing Jane and John Doe, together in happy matrimony. I moved them into Crick Cabana, which, as you will see soon, they quickly grow out of but stubbornly refuse to move away from. Jane Doe is our protagonist's mother. Her maiden name is Smith, but she couldn't be happier to be a Doe. It is her dream to have a happy home full of laughing children, and her main goal really is to build a strong, supportive family. While she is designed to be a stereotypical housewife, I didn't want her to have the stigma that comes along with such a look. Jane is very motherly, but is not a helicopter parent and would never push her child into any activity, career, or lifestyle that they didn't choose on their own. Yes, Jane would be lying if she said she didn't want grandchildren, but she knows parenthood isn't for everyone and will be just as happy with a grand dog or cat if that's how things play out. For her initial look, since I am focusing on her child, I went mostly with pre-styled looks and didn't spend much time on this feature for her or John. John Doe is much more strict and polished in both style and attitude, but he isn't embarrassed to show a soft spot for his wife, Jane. He respects her desire for a large family, and while he certainly wants children, he isn't as involved in the parenting as Jane is. That's not to say he doesn't love his children, just that he focuses on having quality time as a father, since he lacks in quantity of time. John's dream is to push his mental fortitude and provide all of life's opportunities for his family. A true provider in every sense, John takes on the responsibility to teach our protagonist great work ethics and persistence, even in times of personal struggle, as we'll see later on in John's journey. Mary Sue was named after the concept in fanfiction where an authored insert character would have all the redeeming traits you could want in a character. Her looks were 100% randomized by the game itself, although I nurtured her inquisitive nature from her father. Since she won't be a toddler for long, I again used pre-made styled looks for the most part, keeping her clothing as malleable as her personality. It is in Willow Creek where the Does settle into their home in Crick Cabana with their young family. I selected the furnished option, but immediately made some simple changes, as toddlers cannot use most items. However, it was my intention not to use any cheats, and while I later break that with an occasional cheat need, I stayed very strict during these initial years of our young Mary Sue. It was important for me to establish sweet sentiments and fond memories in Mary Sue's save file, so to speak. So much of these first few game days were primarily focused on simplified goals. John was to focus on his career and being promoted as soon as possible to make money and keep up with the house, and Jane was to make Mary Sue and her skill growth her main priority. I did make an effort for John to interact positively with Mary Sue, mostly just in playing or occasionally feeding her. However, since he was gone for most of the day or had to study to get promoted, a lot of her care really did fall on Jane. John quickly showed an aptitude and fondness for criminal law and became a successful lawyer through a lot of hard work and dedication. Since Jane's priority is family, she and John wanted her to find a job that would satisfy her mentally without forcing her out of the home, and she fell into writing very naturally. Her fame comes and goes as she publishes a new book, but she doesn't really pay that any mind. While the income is certainly appreciated, her career comes second in her heart. Her work-life balance is absolutely perfect in her eyes, and her only regret is that her children are growing up so fast. Yes, I said children, more on that later. As I I said earlier, I spent a lot of time focusing on Mary Sue's transformative years, trying to let her personality come out as organically as possible through the established game features. With Jane's primary focus on Mary Sue, her little toddler goals were quickly met and exceeded. Meanwhile, John began writing about cases he worked on in the criminal law sphere. Mary Sue credits Jane with her love for the fitness and wellness lifestyle. It is through Jane that Mary Sue learned the joy that can come from an active lifestyle. And while she will come to outshine her mother in this hobby, these initial years were crucial in determining the path Mary Sue would take as a career. Again, both parents were very present and nurturing during this time. Although, as any Sims player will tell you, it's sometimes not the easiest to get the timing right on certain activities. But these early years were absolutely perfect for little Mary Sue, and quickly she grew up. A bit too soon in Jane's opinion. There really isn't any spectacular occurrence to note during Mary Sue's childhood, other than the fact that she started emulating her mother even more, with learning how to be independent and create a healthy work-life balance, with work here being school and learning new skills. She also got a nice shopping spree as her personality started to shine through. Jane took up needlework for a while and got rather good, but the dust bunnies that came with the hobby drove her vacuum-loving self crazy, so she eventually gave it up for another of life's greater ambition, having more children. That's right, on the cusp of Mary Sue becoming a teen, Jane and John try for another baby and are successful. Now is the time where Mary Sue really begins to shine. I should mention, I played this before High School Years was released. Yes, I have been sitting on this footage for a while. It turns out it was not the best idea to record genuine gameplay and narrate a story over top, but I digress. Mary Sue's active lifestyle turned into an all-out obsession. When she wasn't studying or socializing, she was working out or practicing yoga. She met a lot of friends and potential romantic partners, but still being a teen, nothing really blossomed into anything deep. Meanwhile, John became even more devoted to rising in the ranks of his career, and Jane herself really falls into a steady stride of writing. At this point, I will mention that we start to see the bugs, if you will, in The Sims 4. I played this during the update where more ambitions and fears joined the game, and so the Ask a Neighbor for Their Advice feature went crazy. This also affected John's love for his career, which was very disheartening, and I have no shame in stating that I used an aspiration potion to remove his fear, as it was incongruous with everything that John was. In-game, I explain this as the natural ebb and flow of the human psyche and the introspection that we all must go through when looking at ourselves as an overall journey. Through this contemplation and internal struggle, John showed Mary Sue the importance of holding on to your work ethic while remaining true to yourself. Mary Sue will also go through this game bug, but we will discuss that as it comes into play. And now for the moment Jane has waited 9 months for. She's ready to give birth. This, again, is a part in the game where I never can get to work as properly as it should. But for the sake of the story, John helped check Jane in and was present for the birth of his children. Jane stayed strong and fought hard through the double birthing experience, which was a surprise to me, but I'm sure she was fully prepared for that outcome. How many people have surprise twins? Is that a thing? Anyway, congratulations, Doe family! Their names, along with everything else about them, was randomized. It's not that they aren't integral to the family, but we are focusing on Mary Sue's life journey, and I didn't want to refocus simply because Jane's wishes outwon my own. Jane and John tried very hard to allow Mary Sue's daily life to not be too negatively affected by her younger siblings. She was never tasked with babysitting, feeding, or cleaning them, and only interacted with them to nurture positive relationships. Mary Sue decided to use her love of physical activity to earn some money and became a part-time lifeguard. She also applied to 2 scholarships as she prepared for college. Caleb showed himself to be very social and self-assured, while Elena is very artistic and creative. Having completely run out of room, the Does had a lot of renovations to tackle. Luckily, they found out that there was indeed an unused basement, and they were able to build their children separate rooms to encourage individuality. Throughout Mary Sue's life, Jane's nurturing spirit has always been a constant, as she showed her daughter that one can take pride in the simplest chores, like cooking and cleaning. Additionally, her father taught her to follow truth and honor as her North Star, and to always do what's right over what's easy. Her siblings have shown Mary Sue the rewards of having patience and compassion for others. Truly, Mary Sue is well equipped to enter adulthood. Speaking of which, she receives her acceptance letter and decides to attend the University of Brightchester. Not only has she already made some friends who attend there through her gym visits, but she felt majoring in economics would assist her greater in her career dreams. And here we are, folks. We've seen Mary Sue from essentially conception to reaching young adulthood. I've decided to give my poor Adobe Premiere Pro a break and record this intro video as a 2-parter because, let me tell you, it is not happy with all the amount of footage I am working with. Let me know if you have any questions about any of the Does or gameplay, and I will answer them in the 3rd episode of the series, in which I will record and play simultaneously and provide a webcam so you can see my reactions in real time. Thanks for watching, and please subscribe for more content.